have some ambition a little bit. Don't be scared, right? I think a lot of people don't go after something because they're scared of what people will think or people will do. Well, don't give a fuck what people think and get close to the people that do care. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Warriors Mindset podcast, where the sayings, riddles, and blunders and fights of the wise are, spoken forth. We are Warriors Management, and I am sitting here with Mitch.
How's it going, everyone?
Mitch, how's engagement life after a week?
Pretty good after a week, man. I mean, can't really complain at all. It's not, I haven't been through any real struggles in this week, so great so far.
Yeah, well, what made me bring this up, think about it, is that she actually was around a little bit.
She was, yes.
And she was actually pitching in.
Yeah, which is awesome, man.
I was like, oh, shit.
It's a blessing, man. I like that I don't have to worry about her in social situations, I can actually do my own thing and leave her be, and she'll interact with people and socialize and actually pitch in if I direct her. So it's definitely helpful. She
took good directions from me when I had her call the cops for us, but we'll talk about that later. One thing that was cool is I'm getting less text messages and messages period from other girls and some guys asking if you're single now.
That's good. Good.
It's cut down by 50%.
Once you make it Facebook official, people usually tend to lay off.
Yeah. At least the smart ones. I'm sitting here with Big Daddy Patty. What's going on?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, actually.
Yeah.
Sitting here with all you good folk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we...
Can I ask where the name Big Daddy Patty came from?
Yeah, actually. Go for it.
I'm kind of curious about that.
Well, my name is Patrick, so that's the simple part.
I'm more concerned about the Big Daddy part.
Well, I used to be fat, and so I was a Big Daddy. And that just kind of came to be,
I actually...
It's incredible.
No, I gave him the nickname. I actually walked in on the bathroom one time.
Oh, no.
Well,
yes, but that's not where it came from.
That's funny.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
But, I got less fat, and it just kind of stuck, so.
Yeah. Well, when he was a kid, we actually called him Bubba.
Yeah.
And that's what all the kids called him, and we called him Bubba, and it just happened. I don't know how it happened.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah, but Patrick, he's named after his grandfather.
Yep.
And then David.
Also grandfather.
Yeah.
And father.
Yeah. I'm actually David Jason Pavlich, but we're actually changing our name to Pav. We're looking into it.
Yeah, I think everyone knows us as that already.
Yeah, Pav. Mm-hmm. Well, this podcast, this recording is the purpose of it when we decided to do it is part of our training system for our company. We own and operate about 9 or 10 companies. Mm-hmm. We're dreaming of 5 or 10 more. Right?
At least.
At least. So we're always vision, the Bible actually says where there is no vision, the people perish. So I'm a visionary and hype guy, and you two are like the contractors and organizers and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So Patrick's our chief operating officer, and Mitch just became a partner, and so we're here to just talk about our week, talk about what's going on with us, some things in our company, and we hope that we can stay connected with the 140, 150 people that work with us. I always say you work with us, not for us. You work with me, not for me, until we have to discipline. Then
you're working for us.
You're working for us. So don't fuck around and have a good attitude when you're with us, and realize you're in the hospitality industry. So we're in the hospitality and entertainment industry. And so it's fun. We do people things. And, you know, what I always tell, you know, the young guys, these guys get it, but I've told them for years, the hardest thing about our industry is that you work with people and you serve people.
Mm-hmm.
And you know the problem with people, right?
They're people.
Is that
They're people.
they're
indeed.
people, and we all have our shit sandwich. We all have bullshit. And so what I like to preach, and I learn anything I say that sounds smart is something I learn from someone else and kind of form it into our own way. But the reality is everybody has their crap, and you know, you have to determine if that person is someone you want to work with, right?
Right.
But we're in the hospitality industry, so there has to be a certain amount of like energy you need, right?
Yeah, it's almost like acting. You need to be an actor. You need to push aside your real emotions sometimes, and you know how you really feel.
Yeah, and so I guess I had like an aha moment this week.
Mm-hmm.
It was a horrible trip. I don't like 92 degrees. I don't like hot. I like air conditioning. I love Michigan. But I came back and I thought that I was going to have an easy week because I had such a hard week when I was gone.
And you were wrong.
I was wrong. Yes. However, it was a different kind of hard week because there was a lot of enjoyment and like I felt like I was in my, when you leave and go on vacation or work out of state and then you come back to your home base, there's a certain element of comfort, so therefore you can drive the car better, or I like to call it the train, right?
Yep.
Type of person that I'm looking for to work with is someone that's ambitious and vibrant. A little bit of ambition, and then you have to measure the ambition, and then but they have to be vibrant. They have to be wanting to do something. Are they walking into our establishment, their place of employment, ultimately their place that they get paid at, and are they saying, I'm going to do a good job and I want to be a team and all the stuff that goes into it? Or are they have their head down and just taking their time and they have to be there at 4 and you know it's 3:58, now it's 3:59, okay, it's 4, I'm here, I'm on time. And the truth is I've seen both in our company this week. I was like, the fuck? I felt like, you ever see the movie They Live?
Yeah.
It's like I had the glasses on. And so along with that, I was able to it hurts like when you can lead a horse to water. You can't make someone have some vibrance. It has to be vibrant. You have to like make the efforts, right? Like work out.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's not fun when you walk in and someone is someone's Eeyore, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, energies transfer. So if you walk into your place of work or your business and you're all down in the dumps and have a depressing vibe, I guess, then it's going to transfer to the rest of your team, and that's not something you want. You want your team to have energy, to be just energetic and I guess thriving. So,
Yeah. And so we did this huge event, right?
Oh yeah.
And I was able to see we executed like perfectly. Burritos are here. They're good fucking burritos. If you heard a dong, if you heard a dong but didn't see a dong, you're listening to the right thing, and watching the right thing, because our burritos are here. So anyway, I was watching like how we executed, and it was hard work, but at the end of it, I was like, oh, that was simple. We just got it done, and we'll talk about that. But I was watching the different people that worked for us and the attitudes, and we got people that worked for us a long time. So it was literally like everybody that worked for us during this event, and there was probably 20 people that I saw that were interacting and stuff. If you include the band, like 30 something, and everybody that was part of the event or working the event were sticking out. It's like I didn't see the customers.
Yeah. Oh, I feel like that a lot. When I'm in the middle of setting things up or making something happen, I feel like everyone else is invisible and it's just me.
That's yeah, well, everybody was invisible except our team.
Right, except the team.
And
yeah.
I was watching who was vibrant and who wasn't. I could see it. And that's okay. There's different levels of that, and you need different you're going to have a variety of different people that work for you at different stages of their life. However, who do we want in leadership?
Right.
Vibrance. Someone that's shooting for something. Someone that's trying to achieve something. Someone that takes pride in their work, takes pride in their friendships, takes pride in their interactions with people. Just a basic interaction. You know what I mean? That's what I want, and that's what I'm going to be preaching in our company. So anyway.
And for me, on events like Saturday, it's hard to make those interactions with people and stay on tasks because I have so much going on in my mind and in just that event in total that I'm like, I almost feel like I'm blowing people off, like, hey man, like I got to go. I got to be over here. Like I don't have time to talk right now, but you have to be like in a polite way, So that's kind of tough for me to juggle still right now for those big events,
Yeah. So, we like to talk about our events and because we're in the entertainment business. So we do, we have restaurants, we have bars, we have comic shops. We also have basically our own audio company. I mean, we get hired out once a year, but the rest is the audio company's ours for our events. And so we threw a big concert this week, and we do that. We've talked about this before, but this was a special one because it was all friends. So we had Seventh, and Seventh is my kids' band, and that's the music you hear when the podcast opens and closes. And so that was very cool, and we combined it with Aaron Zindel and the Ragbirds, longtime friend, 25 years, Aaron and TJ. Mm-hmm. TJ actually just got hired into our company. He does all our booking for the Grateful Crow and the Rumpus Room, and so that's awesome. And then he also manages Seventh.
Yeah, good guy.
Aaron and TJ are both amazing people, super talented artists, and they're awesome to work with.
Yeah, so we got a lot coming with them. So I told everybody this was like a litmus test to the vision for like I wouldn't say it's a vision. I'd say it's starting to be a plan of one of our next companies, which I'm not going to talk about right now, but it has to do with music.
I'm excited for that.
Very exciting.
It is exciting. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Later.
I know. I kind of want to say, this is what I need. Does anybody have it for sale? We'll buy it. But anyway, but we were going to do a sand concert, and obviously that was dumb for two reasons. One, we couldn't find, you had to buy the sand in too large of a quantity. But second, it was going to be 60 degrees.
Yeah, it doesn't really quite fit the theme.
So what do we
60
change?
degrees and sand.
Oh, yeah.
So we went to like more of a fall theme. Fall fest kind of deal. And the first part of my day was just running around getting materials, and we picked up 100 pumpkins, like 50 bales of straw, and a bunch of just like corn and whatnot to decorate the festival grounds with.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun. And then so I don't know how many people were there. I was actually happy with the crowd, because we didn't really have a rhythm for our advertising with this, and nor did I care. I just wanted to do the concert. But we sold a lot, and we did well. There was a lot of people there.
Early September, some pumpkin farms aren't even open yet for business. So I called a couple, and they were not even serving customers yet. So I ended up getting a hold of Lesser Farms in Dexter, Michigan.
Nice.
And they were able to fulfill my request. I actually did a few different batches. I was like, hey, can we get 50 pumpkins? and we got 50, and I was like, hey, can we get 50 more? She's like, I think so. But they had to go pick them, and they had those ready for me. So shout out to Lesser Farms.
Yeah.
If you need any pumpkin, straw, homegrown honey, beef, eggs, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They are definitely a quality go-to for me.
I've been going to them for years, and actually Amanda Lesser worked for us as a photographer for a while, so she's real good.
I saw her up there actually.
Did you?
Yep, on Friday.
Yeah, if you need a photographer, she's great.
But definitely huge shout out to Alex Rogers and Ethan Pav for helping unload and coordinate that whole all the pumpkin and straw bale throwing around, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's important. I want to tell you something about Alex, who's been here on the podcast before. At least he's chimed in, and he's my assistant, and Alex does the agenda with Patrick for this and stuff. And so we started at noon, and then it was like 11:30 at night. And I was talking to him, and I said, you can come back in the morning and just make sure all the garbage and shit is cleaned up. He goes, no, I think I'm just going to stay so I can have tomorrow off. And he worked from noon until 3 a.m. He had some breaks, Department of Labor, so But
super thankful for people like him.
Dude, because we did the same thing.
Yeah.
I got home at 2 a.m.
Yeah, I got home at around 2 as well.
Yeah.
But it's just nice to have somebody to lean on for extra support, because both you and I, all of us, we have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So just to be able to be like, hey man, can you just like go grab those hay bales, or can you start this fire? Like, it's a huge help.
Yeah. And I would say he's a good example of having ambition. He has ambition for his life. He has ambition for our company, but our company is empowering his life. He says, I love the money, but I love what I'm learning. He's 17. He's a senior in high school.
It's fun, man.
Or he's 18, I think. But anyway, Department of Labor. So he's vibrant. He's vibrant. Now,
Yes,
he
he
talks a lot, but we're all busting his balls all the time, so he's getting it.
Oh, yeah.
It's super cool.
He's young.
He's young, right? And so then, so then there was this epic moment at the end of the 7th show. We have to start there because there was an epic moment there, and there was an epic ending moment to the night. So nobody was standing in front, but there were hundreds of people way back because it was loud. Yeah, that is killer. Oh my goodness. I do have Mr. Connor Pav here, the drummer, so I think this is a good time to let him chime in a little bit. So Connor, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
So this is like my youngest son, and he was number 5, and he came after the vasectomy. So make sure you clean the pipes. That's the lesson in all this. So, hey, man, what was it like up there playing with Erin? Like, she was your teacher, right?
It was something different for sure. It's something that we've always kind of wanted to do. We've always talked about having strings, or at least having her on stage with us or something like that. It was a really good energy. I think the crowd really liked it too. I know Caleb, my older brother, who's playing guitar in the band
guy
with
with
me.
the hair?
Yeah. He was talking about how he was crying on stage because of it. It was just a super emotional, but a super big dream that he's had to partake in with this entire music scene that we're going into,
Yeah. What's cool is that Erin and TJ, so the violinist is Erin from the Ragbirds, and TJ from the Ragbirds TJ helped you start the band and wrote this song with you.
Yes. Yep.
And then Aaron was a music teacher when you were like 5-6 years old.
Yep.
Yep. So that was cool. So what's on the horizon? When's your next gig, and what's the plan for next year with Seventh?
Our next gig is September 28th. I think we're doing it in the same spot, which will be, I mean, I like playing out there. It's fun.
Yeah.
Good energy.
It is fun.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
It's a good venue for you guys.
Yeah, I agree. Next year, we're going to try, well, going into this next year, we're going to try and start recording this next album and then hopefully have that released mid to late next year. Hopefully something like that.
Is Colossus going to be on there?
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's fun.
Cool, man. Proud of you, bud.
Thank you.
And let me tell you, you mentioned that Caleb was getting emotional on stage, and I was in the crowd watching, and I was getting emotional too, man. Like, I've been watching you guys play for years, right? Mm-hmm. And seeing how much you guys have grown and watching you with Aaron on stage, like, that was truly a beautiful song. Like, with adding the strings in there, and you guys are all like family to me. So I was legitimately like crying, like had sunglasses and my cowboy hat on, and I'm like wiping tears away because
the cowboy hat on.
I'm watching you guys, and I'm like, man, I am a part of like a pretty awesome company here. Like, we do some pretty amazing things, and I'm just I was really grateful in that moment and still am.
There's always someone stupid. Like, it's like, this is why we don't really like doing things after midnight. This is like the literally outside of like private party stuff that we had a concert after midnight, because anything after midnight is not good.
Nothing good happens.
Yeah,
after
it's
midnight.
like grab a pizza and go home after midnight. But we had a problem. So there was someone in the rumpus room being inappropriate, right?
Yeah. So actually, my fiance had pointed this gentleman out way earlier in the evening. She just kind of said, that dude's really creepy. Like, he's just giving me some creepy vibes.
Yeah. And then there was another guy who was just standing there, and I went up to him and I was like, hey, how you doing? And the music was going, but it wasn't loud. He was kind of in the back, and he was big. Like, he was like as big as Patrick, but wider. And I was like, hey, how you going? How's it going? And he was like, he didn't respond. It was almost like he didn't understand what I was saying.
Yeah, it's like talking to a brick wall kind of.
Yeah,
almost.
it was. So I went outside, and I wasn't inside too much, and I was just peeking in, and, you know, our bouncers had to yank the guy you're talking about out because they were together.
Yes.
The guy I saw. Everybody had their eyes on these two guys. Nobody knew him. Because it's Chelsea, it's a hometown. It's like Bovine is like a hometown thing. Those guys are from Chelsea. So like I saw people like old school Chelsea guys that are
You
like
kind of
historical
recognize the crowd.
family stuff. I love the generational stuff in Chelsea. And so
yeah, man, Steve had to escort someone out, and they were not really having it. They weren't like super disrespectful at the time, but he kept on loitering around the area.
He wouldn't leave the area, and so Steve was gonna Steve is the force guy. Steve uses force when we need him, and so I said, hey, listen, let me handle this. I ended up handling it. And so I'm talking to the guy, and actually ended up talking to him with my wife, Susie, and I had someone bring me water. Alex brought me a water. I gave him a water. And this was like the final thing. There was a couple he like left, and he kept coming back, and it was weird. And he made some actions which made me say, okay, this guy's really unstable, right? So I go to hand him the water, and he slaps the water from me. And then I was like, listen, man. I said, listen, you just need to go. And just go.
He was really drunk. He was pretty drunk.
I was like, you just need to go. Your friend will come out. You can call your ride. Just go. Get off the property. And I was even thinking beyond that. I was thinking, I watch them, even me taking them home, because we don't have this too often because we're in like a small town. But I'll take people home. I'll have the cops come. What doesn't matter, you know? So anyway, but then he shoved me. And I was like, oh. But the actions that he did before, which I'm not going to say, I mean, it compounded, right?
Yes.
And it was, and then he shoved me, and I had to I had to remove him from the property. But here's the problem. He kept coming. And then all of a sudden, I'm standing there. It's just me and him. He gets up because he fell. I had to remove him from the property. He gets up. Over my left shoulder comes...
Yep.
You might want to go beep. I don't know if we want their names. And then all of a sudden, a big cowboy hat and a red flannel, boom, and just the dude, he submitted.
Oh, yeah.
That was Mitch.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I had one of those moments, and then all of a sudden, Susie was next to me. I went, and I just turned around and walked back to the party. And I didn't have to do anything else because the two boys, they were on it. But then the cops came and they ran from the cops.
They did.
And then they left. The cops were there for a while, but your fiance, she's like, should I call the cops? And she's like, I was like, yeah, call the cops. But she called frantically. She's never done that. And we didn't need it frantic. We had it under control. We had them like held.
Yeah, basically we were like, you know, after I tackled him, I kind of held him against the ground and I was like, you good? Like you're not gonna fight anymore. You don't want to fight us, right? Like you've realized that you're outnumbered.
You're just
here.
gonna leave.
And we let him get up and he went to the upper lot, which is off our property. And I was like, all right, like you just stay over there and we'll stay over here and we're all good. Like, no, it's not a big deal. Just stay over there.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is I was working at the restaurant during most of this day, except I did get to see 7th, which was cool. And
the day went perfect.
Yeah, it was awesome. And so I went home. I got home at, I don't know, 11 or so after I got off and went to sleep pretty quick. And I wake up the next morning at, I don't know, 7 a.m. or something, and I have a text
from me
at 2 a.m. from you.
That's when I got home.
And it was talking about this, but there was no detail. Like no detail at all. And I was like,
what did I say? Fight night at the Rumpus
You said
room.
Fight night at the Rumpus room.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
never bovine plays, man.
And I said, oh boy, what happened? And he just said, ask Mitch.
Yeah.
And then Mitch didn't answer.
I didn't want to relive it. I was done Sunday.
I didn't talk to either of you all day. So for the entire day, I had no idea what happened until Monday.
Yeah. I was like,
Yeah. Mitch was non-responsive on Sunday. We worked from 12 p.m. till 2 a.m. in the morning.
Probably, actually.
That's 14 hours straight.
I would say more like 11 is when I, because I had to pick up
when you started.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. I was at the office at 10.
Yeah. We were there all day.
Oh, I was there at 10. That's
Yeah.
right. I'm talking we met everybody
Oh,
at
yes.
noon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fucking
It
awesome.
was a long day, but it was definitely worth it.
So, you know, as we do, we talk about what's going on in our businesses, what's going on in the world, and there's a lot going on in the world. So I thought we'd talk about what's going on with both of our presidential nominees. We have Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. So Donald Trump put out a interesting proposal that I'm sure will get mixed reviews from his base about legalizing marijuana. So he posted on Truth Social, as I previously stated, I believe it's time to end needless arrests and incarceration of adults for small amounts of marijuana for personal use. We must also implement smart regulations while providing access for adults to a safe, tested product. As a Floridian, I will be voting yes on Amendment 3, which has to do, with this topic. As president, we will continue to focus on research to unlock the medical uses of marijuana to a Schedule 3 drug, which that's good, and work with Congress to pass common sense laws, including safe banking for state-authorized companies and supporting states' rights to pass marijuana laws, like in Florida, that works so well for their citizens. So I think this is an interesting topic of discussion, kind of controversial, kind of not, depending on who you're talking to.
Do you smoke pot?
Very rarely, once in a while.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember the first time you smoked pot around me as my son.
Yeah, it was not that long ago.
He was like shy, but I could see it. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna do it.
No, I went for it. I mean, it's not like it was the first time I ever did it. I know how to do it.
Yeah,
so.
Well, I think like what you said at the beginning of the statement is super important. We like to talk about what's going on with our companies, and we like to talk about what's going on in politics or the world, because what happens in politics affects our company.
Oh, directly. I mean, if there's regulations, or we hate taxes around here, that directly affects us and people we work with.
Yeah, and so I was really happy when this come out because I am pro cannabis. One thing that's super important with me being pro cannabis is that when I voted yes in Michigan, and it's legal in Michigan for recreational use, I knew it would directly impact our sales for pizza in a positive way. Okay.
That
I
is
wonder
true.
why that would be.
So it has. And if you walk into our establishment, sometimes it does reek, but it's not from the people working there. It's from the people coming in.
Which I hate that. If you're going to do it, put on some body spray or something.
I'm
Cover it up.
actually against driving around and smoking flower because it stinks, and I never do.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I am pro cannabis for a second reason, and it's really helped me in a medicinal way. Is that how you say it? Medicinal?
Medicinal.
It's like Medusa.
Yeah.
It kind of is if I'm not smoking it. I'm like Medusa. But I found it's made me a lot calmer. It's helped with my anxiety, and honestly, like I deal there's reasons CEOs jump off buildings. Now, I'm not like some CEO of some billion-dollar company yet. But it's definitely helped me, and I've gone through years of not doing it and different things. But the reality is, with this statement, and I was happy about it, and the fact that RFK Jr. joined him, and amongst others, is that people have a misconception about Trump, and I say it all the time. I knew this would come out. Well, I knew he thought this.
Yeah.
He doesn't do it. He tells his kids not to do drugs or get tattoos.
Yep.
But who cares? It's like, I don't care what you eat, or I don't care who you have sex with, honestly. So the reality is that this is a policy that he thinks should happen, and I think that on both sides, people appreciate that.
Well, it is interesting that you said he doesn't partake, and he was on a podcast, got interviewed, and gave the in-depth story about his brother and his reasoning for not doing this, but that he doesn't do it but is still for this. I think that's a good perspective.
Well, I think it's good because, a lot of the policies that Donald Trump has talked about implementing are policies that remove the federal government from, I guess, making decisions for the people,
Yeah.
And it's allowing the states to choose and the states to have more say, which ultimately is supposed to give more control to the people.
Yeah, because it's smaller, because there's more people in California than there is Michigan. But for me, this is one of those secondary issues that I didn't give a fuck about. But I would tell you that I'm pro cannabis, and I think it is addictive and other things. But that's up to the individual. If my 17-year-old kid who's sitting here, I told him no, and he's asked me. He goes, I don't know if I'm going to or should I, and I told him no because he has the personality that he doesn't need it, but I'm different. You know what I mean?
Well,
maybe one day, or maybe he does. I don't know, but
I think it's important to. I mean, this is coming from someone I've smoked weed since I was 15 years old, right?
Yeah.
And
you're muscle Mitch too, so I think
yes,
the health
yes
aspects.
But, my mom she'd always get mad. My mom and dad, whose parents don't get upset about them partaking in drugs or smoking weed or drinking when they're younger. But my mom was always like, don't smoke weed. And I was like, oh, it's not addictive, Mom. It's not addictive, falling into that trap.
Yeah.
But,
well, I want to say this in regards to my conversation with him, who's sitting next to me, and I'm not going to have him comment. Maybe I will, but we actually had a conversation about it, and I left it open-ended. It's up to him.
right.
I mean, he's under 18, and so, I'd probably bust his balls more now than maybe in 2 years from now. 2 years from now, I might not even notice, or when he's 20 or 21. And that's how it is with with Pat, it was different, but with the one that's in the band, the hair guy, Caleb, he roasts one once in a while. And so He's my son and whatever.
You know, I think as long as you have a good relationship with it, just don't abuse it, don't overuse it. I think it's ideal for you to stay away from it if you are, younger, if you're a teenager. Just let your brain develop first before you start using.
I don't
stuff
let
like
it
that.
control me. I've gone back and forth. So I smoked when I was younger, and then I took like 8-9 years off, and then I smoked, and then I took like a year or two off, and then I've taken months off, and I actually took a year off, and I've been smoking for like 10 months now, like since like last October or November. But yeah, you can't let it. It can't be control, and it can't be. I need this in order to function.
Right.
Well, you said you bought into it's not addictive. Do you still think that?
I think it is.
No, it's definitely addictive, and I think back in the day, there's a different chemical makeup in the stuff that you just grow in your backyard compared to the stuff they cultivate now. It seems to be a lot more potent, and for me particularly, and I know a lot of other people struggle with this, is it actually like really upsets my stomach, and it just alters the function of my body, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I drink ginger ale.
So
Verner's, baby. Where's my Verner's? Anybody know where it went?
So I have to really moderate how I use it, and make sure I'm not abusing it, especially with those like pens. Those are a little too strong for me.
It's easy to have it in your pocket all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, if I have it in my pocket
temptation.
and I'm like in a meeting with you guys, sometimes I end up hitting it and I'm like, fuck, wrong pen.
Yeah.
But vaping, yeah, whatever. But anyway, he brought this out, and we'll probably never dive deep into abortion, but like it's like he's bringing it to the States just like abortion.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the marijuana and like all that stuff. And so it's interesting, and we talked about, I got cable now, so I'm watching it every night, and I'll probably stop after the election, but I want to see what people are being programmed with, and I watched CNN last night for a while, and I fucking opposite on Fox. It was just opposite, and so then I'm watching the polls, and I don't really understand. So Pat, can you tell me a little bit about what's going on in the polls?
Well, so it basically depends on who you're asking. I think there's a lot of people that think that Democrats are being oversampled, resulting in a skew.
What's that mean, oversampled?
Like if they interview 1,000 people, they'll interview 700 Democrats and 300 Republicans, so that the percentage seems to skew. But it really depends on where you look. Like, we have two that came out yesterday, I think. So first one shows that Harris is going to win every state. And then we have another one that shows the percent chance of Trump winning those same states is very high. So it's like, what is there to believe? Trump has outperformed the polls the last two elections by 5%. So it's like, you don't really know what to believe.
So here's my belief on it. You can call it theory, but I actually believe this. So this is what I see as fact. This is fact how I see it. These polls are not correct. I talk to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people every week. And if you're in our organization, I'm more and more outspoken. And just like I like talking about Jesus, I like talking about politics, just like I like talking about business, I like talking about politics, like I like talking about
It's fun.
advertising, like I talking about politics. I like talking about sports cards, like I like talking about politics. So I want to have conversations with people of substance.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk to a lot of people about who the fuck are they going to vote for. And now people are asking me. I was asked by someone very prominent in my life who I love. This couple, they're like in their 80s. They were at the Grateful Crow. And I told them I was voting for Trump. And they got upset with me. Not upset with me. They questioned, like, Jason. Like your grandma would say, Jason, what you doing? And so I'm actually going to have dinner with them. I said, let's have dinner so we can talk more, because they were actually asking questions, because I was actually not emotional and giving legitimate answers. but they were mostly legitimate questions back. You know what I mean? Because I want to understand what they think, because I want to talk about it. And I would say that 7 out of 10 people I talk to are voting for Trump or not voting for Harris. These polls, in my factual thoughts, are incorrect.
Well, and I think a lot of people who are voting for Harris,
and I can talk Michigan and Ohio. So, by the way,
yeah, and even if you drive around, like I drove to Traverse City a couple weeks ago, the percentage of Trump signs versus Harris signs had to have been like 100 to 1.
there's an equal amount
Oh,
of
yeah.
Trump signs to Harris signs in our area.
which is heavily liberal area.
Yeah. So I think that it's going to be a landslide. I think that there's going to be, who knows what's going to happen between now and then. But they tried to kill him, and now we got a debate tonight. So I'm going to get some popcorn. I already bought some popcorn. I have some steak and sausage and some ice cream ready.
Well, I think a lot. Yeah, steak and sausage.
Ice cream, huh?
A lot
Let's
of
go.
people who are voting for Harris, I think, don't really know what she stands for. They're just voting because that's their side, right? Like,
I actually like Biden better than Harris.
well, they're both equally fake, I think. But people don't know, or they don't like Trump, and even she's going out and pretending to be of the people. Like, look at this video that just came out.
Understand? I'm pretty sure you know.
Oh, it's gonna be good. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We are all in this together.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna be fine.
we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
I'm so sorry.
Huh? Yeah. Did you get some spices? Oh, absolutely. Oh.
Y'all want a huggy, lovey-dovey president.
No, I don't. But
Wait a second, though. I'm empathetic to anybody who has emotions like that. I'm good. I was laughing because I saw someone else laughing in the background.
yeah,
I think.
I'm empathetic with people who have emotions too, but this was staged.
What do you mean it was staged? I never saw this. I purposely didn't watch it till now.
It was staged. So one of her advisors posted this video out. It's a feel good. I mean, that's good. Trump goes out he went to Chick-fil-A in Atlanta. He goes to these places and people love him. That's good. Good strategy for her to reach the voters, right? And so, cool. It gets millions of views. Everyone, she's the nice one. Trump's the mean one.
Pull on the heartstrings.
Pull on the
we talked
heartstrings,
about last
right?
week.
But then it comes out that this spice shop that she goes to it's a franchise that is owned by people who donate to the Democrats. They
Paid for advertising.
Yep.
I would pay. I would
Well-
give her money to come into the Grateful Grill.
Well, yeah, sure. I'd like to meet her.
Picketing.
To give her money?
Yeah, like $50 to have her come.
I don't know if it's worth 50.
Don't know if she'd come for that, not gonna lie.
No, only if we said we were going to vote for her.
Not with them. Never mind.
So, but this company has things on their website that said that they hate Republicans and people who like Donald Trump. So it appears to be staged. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But even today, so she finally released some policies on her website right ahead of the debate, and they were copy and pasted from Joe Biden's website. So she says she's a new way forward, forget the past, this or that, even though she's been vice president. And now she's just mimicking the same policies.
I think that's a very good thing to point out. And because something that I've been watching Fox News a lot, so I'm watching all these commercials, and I find it odd. There is way more commercials bought for Kamala Harris that, pro than there is anything with Trump on Fox. But
I wouldn't even say it's pro Kamala Harris. I would say it's just bashing Trump. All of her
Yeah.
campaigns just bash Trump. Trump's bad. Trump's bad. Trump's bad. Bad orange man.
yeah, and but it's also exposing things. But something that pointed out to me is that talking about that she's for the middle class, right? And so, for me, I grew up in a so-called industrial age family, which was middle class, and middle class was Detroit, suburbs of Detroit, auto industry. And if you made 50,000 a year, you were like, you had it, you had the nice car, you had the house, like, and things were good. And then a lot of times, like, my grandmother didn't work. It was just like a one income, and like she had, 4 children and 4 boys.
Yep.
But anyway, like 50,000 was always my dream to get to.
Same.
Because my dad, we were like lower class. So my dad, I found out when the 50,000 was like the shit, my dad was making like 27, 28. My mom would come in as a waitress, probably make 10, 12. And so we're at 40 something, like, which is lower class. And then below lower class is poverty, right?
Yep.
But even people in poverty in the United States would be wealthier than most people in other countries, such as Haiti, where we work, right? So I started doing some research on the middle class, and then you got something for me over there?
Yeah. So basically, what I looked at was the difference between 2014, 10 years ago, and 2024, and the difference of like median household income for people who are in the middle class. So looking back to 2014, the median household income for specifically the middle class was $73,000.
That's combined?
That's combined. It's dependent on obviously how many people are in the home, but that's for the entire middle class. That's the median of what it was.
Okay.
Now 2024, you see a huge spike with the median middle class household income being $106,000 for the household. So if you look at it, there's a $31,000 gap between, and sorry, the average household income for 2024 is $74,000, which is right around where the median household income was in 2014. So what that's telling us is that if you want to be in the center of the middle class, if you want to be basically right in the middle,
Right now.
yeah, right now, you need $106,000 a year. But average people are only making $74,000 a year, which means there's a $31,000 gap per year between.
So there is no increase in wages, but there is a huge increase in living costs over the last 10 years.
Yes. 100%.
Okay. So now what I'm talking about with the 50,000 was when I was thinking about getting married and had a kid. I was 21 when I had you, so 20, and then I turned 21. You were born a couple weeks later. That time, you're 27, right?
Yep.
So 27 years ago, it was the 50,000 was like, and before that too. And what happened in 71 when they came off the gold standard, that's when everything, inflation and printing are digitally creating money. So I was extremely upset. And I looked at some other things, and one of the research that I found is the lower end of the middle class right now is 75,000, and the upper end of middle class is 400,000. Okay, so if you're making between 75 and 400, you're in the middle class, and then you can go above. So what happens is below 75. Okay, now it depends on how you live. I mean, you can make 30,000 and live like a king and eat grapes.
Well, if you already had
You
a
just
house,
you have to grow the grapes.
You already had a house that you bought in 2019.
Yeah, there's
sure.
This is like on a broad idea thought process, but so what upset me was one of my business goals was to get as many people to first it was get me to 50. And then get as many people to 50,000 a year because, and if you've been with us for a while, this started like 5-7 years ago, because I always thought if I get someone to 50,000 and then places to grow from there, that these people would be loyal and because their life is taken over. And what has happened with me, I was really upset. I didn't cry, but I felt like it could have been a moment. If I would have smoked some weed at that particular time, I might have cried. Because that's the only time I cry. And which it's helped me cry, by the way. It's good because I didn't cry for like 4 years. People died. I'm like, whatever. But I'd do the funeral and I'd be like, they were good, But
They were good.
But it upset me because I tried so hard, and then I thought about the people, and I'm like, fuck. And with 75. I've thrown that number out there. You know what I mean? You guys have heard that number. I'm like, we got to get people to 75.
Yeah.
I've been saying it all year. I said next year we have to get people to 75 that are worth it. But then we have to look at the people that aren't worth 50. We got to move them on and then get the people that are worth 50, because 50,000 a year right now, if you're single, you have your own place, don't spend a lot, you can get by. But it's really upsetting. So we should know that. The middle class is 75,000 to 400 now.
400. That's pretty.
Now
that's a wide range.
the people that she's promoting, that she's helping in her videos, are not middle class because they're not making 75. And let's analyze it. And I haven't seen all the commercials, so let me throw that out there. Okay, maybe there's a corporate guy in a suit. That's who they should have back there. And even auto workers, it's tough to make 75.
Yeah. I mean, you're working overtime for
And
sure.
if you're an engineer and you're white collar, you're making 120. Fine, you're middle class right there.
Right, but you also
But
went through 4 years
it's not
of
helping
school.
because I employ middle class. You guys are all you guys are middle class.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't help you because you're also entrepreneurs. That's one reason you're in the. If you weren't entrepreneur or intrapreneurs for the last few years and now entrepreneurs as business owners, I would have never paid you that middle class money.
Well,
I told you to go make pizzas for $15 an hour.
Well, the biggest thing that would help those people and us is cutting all the taxes that we pay. We wouldn't have to make so much money if we weren't being
no taxes
we
on
weren't being
tip, no
taken.
taxes to employ people, no federal tax.
Property tax.
Yeah, I paid like 4,000 in
Half energy
taxes last year.
I think I don't mind a little taxes, but something else has to be figured out. But they're taking too much. But middle class is 75,000 to 400 based on my research, and if you're making under that, you're lower class. And I think I'm not saying you're a lower class person. I think it's good to start in poverty. I did. We didn't have shit growing up. We didn't have shit, but my parents worked hard, but they didn't make shit. But then but below 25, what is that? Poverty, lower class, middle class, upper class, 1%ers, 5%ers, 1%ers. But that's all I got about that.
Well, we also did bring our head chef Joe in today. I don't know if he wants to be called Fat Joe.
He's not fat.
He's not fat,
fat.
but he said he wanted to be called it.
He's a little rounder and shorter than when he started with us, but that's because he's getting old. No, but I want to say this, though, because when I was going to bring his name up, which I wasn't sure if, is that it's cool because he just asked to come hang out, and so did Connor. And these are a couple people, leaders and partners in our company that are listening to the podcast. They actually want to hear it and be here, so that's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
Well,
Welcome.
this studio is not only, to record, but it's also for meetings and for us to be mentored and be mentors. So yeah, it's a lot of fun having them come along.
Yeah, he's getting mic'd up.
Mic'd up, baby. But anyway, yeah, I was scrolling through, I think, Facebook one night, just trying to decompress after the day, and I came across this video that legitimately gave me goosebumps. And everyone knows the famous Gordon Ramsay. He's an incredible chef, and he demonstrates in this video how to break down a chicken with a blindfold on.
So you had never seen this before?
I had never seen this
haven't
before.
Oh, okay, I watched this because I used to watch this show. So okay,
Yeah,
cool.
no, I didn't
Good.
see it on
cool.
the show.
He's actually gonna cut up this chicken with a blindfold? Wow.
2 drums, 2 thighs, 2 wings, 2 breasts, 1 carcass. You watching up there?
Yes, chef.
Lift up the knife, pierce back the skin, and literally slice through. Pull back, pop out that joint. Come round, slice off. Again, pierce, pull back, pop out. Slice down. From there, feel where the knuckle is. Off. 1 thigh, 1 drum. Now for the exciting part, chicken wing. Cut through the wing. Snap off. Snap off. Back to the main part of the bird. Feel the breastbone down the middle. Come through the wishbone. and let the knife do the work. Breast on.
Let the
Pull
knife
back
do the
that
work.
skin.
That's what I was
Very
about to
carefully
say.
feel the
Gotta let
knife
the knife do the work.
in.
I love this.
Through, down,
I hate the chicken.
pull back the fillet, and off. One carcass, 2 drums, 2 thighs, 2 wings, 2 breasts, done.
Well, so Joe,
Yeah.
the chef who cuts chicken on the daily.
Yeah.
What do you think about this guy?
I don't really know much about him before that time, but I find him to be really inspirational. He really cares about the restaurant industry. I would say he really tries to help people out, which is part of his legacy. The industry is part of his legacy. His impact on the industry has just been amazing. This video in particular, though, really cool, really impressive, but to a normal person, very impressive. But I mean, what you need 1,000 hours to be
10,000.
10,000
hours
Yep.
to be a master of something. You know
Yes,
what
sir.
I mean? I mean, how many chickens has he taken down
Right.
in that way?
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, I'll be slicing onions or something simple and have a conversation with somebody and
Oh yeah, I see it
be
in the
looking
kitchen
them
all the
straight in
time
the
with
eye.
you guys.
Yeah, and then I'll act like I messed up and see their reaction. You have a knife in your hand for that long in your life. It's actually pretty. It's easier than you think it is.
It's like another appendage.
It is
at that point.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes. Like this video is very impressive. It's hard to do. I'm sure he's done it for 10,000 hours.
Yep.
But as long as you keep doing it, it's simpler than you think.
Right. That's what a professional is. What a master is. It's making a difficult task look easy. Right.
One thing that you just said it again is like he cares about the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
He really
cares,
does.
and it's his legacy and stuff. But do you think you could cut a chicken blindfolded?
I don't know if I've ever broken down a whole chicken in that form. But yeah, I could probably give it a shot.
Yeah. And he busts people's balls, and the chef that helped us do the Grateful Crow that Joe and I and Mitt, we've all worked with, right?
Yep.
I asked him, I said, you ever work with Chef Ramsay? And he goes, I taught him everything he knows. And so that was like, I mean, it was, Asian pride. It was awesome, but I wouldn't doubt it. But yeah, I like this guy. And I was saying we need to, next time we have you on, Joe, let's talk about the chefs that inspire us because, business.
Chicken blindfolded live.
We'll do something. We'll make them cook something. We'll do some knife skills, right? Maybe it's onions. It'll make it smell real
Onions
good
or
in here.
avocado or break down a salmon.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought here.
I would suggest bringing in our other chef for that segment.
Oh yeah, Kyle Bragg.
She has a lot of
Yeah.
She would have a lot to say and a lot of people that have inspired her.
Yeah, let's set something up for next month. Let's do some cooking, right?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So there's art and science to life as well. And so as you're walking, through life, what do you have for them awesome people out there? Patty?
Listen to your parents, except for when they're wrong. Then don't do what they say.
Mitch?
As you're walking through life, as you wake up every day, just be grateful for where you're at and the path that you are going down, because there is one point in your life that you were just wishing that you had what you have today. So just be grateful and keep pushing forward.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was way deeper. That was way deeper than what I said. Oh boy.
Sorry, Pat.
Have some ambition, a little bit. Don't be scared, right? I think a lot of people don't go after something because they're scared of what people will think or people will do. Well, don't give a fuck what people think and get close to the people that do care what your dreams are, what you're trying to do in your life, especially like young people. Like he's 17. Why wouldn't we? And the next thing is be vibrant. What does that mean? Have a little life to you. Have a little happiness to you. Have a little positivity to you. It'll go a long way for other people, but mostly you, right?
Yep.
So
Yes,
from,
sir.
from all of us here on the Warriors Mindset podcast, where the sayings, riddles, and fights of the wise are talking about, we are Warriors Management, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
See ya.
Stay safe, guys.
Follow me.